Hello all, good morning to all. Today we will be seeing the accounts payable process in banking domain. As we know that there are different processes in banking domain like loan processing process, account closer, KYC, anti-money laundering. So today we will see the account payable process and how that helps in fraud detection process also, but we will be taking fraud detection process later on. But today we will see how account payable process works and what are its advantages. So in this we will see the basic account process workflow, then the documents that are associated with it, the importance of AP management, the breadth of this process and the challenges, then how do they streamline the account payable cycle, and what are the advantages that we get once we automate these processes. So the account payable process of a company is the management of its short-term payment obligations to vendor, suppliers. The account payable or AP is the amount of money that the business owes to its vendors, suppliers for availing their goods and services. Account payable processing ensures that there are timely payments to suppliers and vendors, and the goal of the AP process is to ensure legitimacy and accuracy of any payment originating from the business to any supplier or vendor. The full cycle of the account payable process includes capturing the invoice data, appropriate GL coding, the three-way match of invoice, approving or flagging invoices, and finally processing payments. The basic AP workflow shows here that it depends on following three things: the number of vendors, service providers that cater to its needs, the total volume or amount of payments that are to be made in a short period of time, and the types of documents required to validate each purchase transaction. The account payable workflow refers to the complete end-to-end process of obtaining goods and services and the processing and payments of the invoices related to those transactions. Knowing and understanding these steps is essential to efficiently manage your AP processes. Yet, most AP departments endure several challenges within the transactional and traditional manual workflow that stunts growth, comprises efficiency, and creates several errors. So, to take care of that and to see how to manage these challenges and why a streamlined workflow through automation is the best solution, the steps are included in the account payable workflow. Account payable department have a series of tasks to complete for each invoice they process. The steps they follow from beginning to end constitute the workflow. These workflows may be manual or automated. A manual workflow relies on humans to initiate and carry out each step. However, an automated process removes the tedious grunt work while building in control points that are important to CFOs and controllers. There are still invoice approvals and payment authorizations which require human interventions, but teams benefit by cutting time spent on manual processes such as invoice capturing, payment execution, etc. According to Brightview Health's controller Matt Santel, incorporating mineral tree made the entire AP process much faster, reducing it to mere minutes. The AP workflow can be broken down into following steps. The first one is invoice capture. How an invoice is captured or entered into an ERP system depends on how it is received. Invoices received via snail mail or fax may be entered manually or scanned and read into the system by a computer. Emailed invoices may be sent to a dedicated email box that triggers automated invoice capture. Invoice approval: once the details of the invoice are captured, the next part of the workflow is to get the invoice approved. Approval can also be a manual process for companies not leveraging an AP automation platform. For companies using purchase orders, the next step is to match the invoice against the PO, which is either done manually by AP staff or by the automation platform. If it is matches, it proceeds the payment. If it doesn't, then it triggers an exception handling workflow to investigate and resolve before it can proceed to payment. For companies not leveraging PO numbers, approvals can involve physically carrying or sending the invoice to someone's desk to a signature. Sometimes this process is slow, especially if paperwork gets lost into the pile or emails are overlooked. But an automated system can keep things on track by automatically routing invoices to the right person for approval and following up with reminders. The third one is payment authorization. After invoice approval, in some workflow, payment must be separately authorized. This may also involve separate authorizations for different types of invoices or different items on an invoice. Typically, the AP team prepares the payment run, which involves a collection of payments for authorization by the collector or CFO in a given time period. Manually, this might involve preparing, aggregating, or printing the invoice and associated documentation. AP employees must then present these documents to the controller or CFO, who then decides that these should be paid. Again, this step is becoming more and more efficient when the workflow is automated, which makes it possible to easily queue up the payment batch and then submit it to the right person and for authorization. You can also enable approval and payment scheduling based on the cash management policies. Fourth step is payment execution. Once approval and authorization is done, the payment is ready to be made. The payment may be sent via check, ACH, virtual card, or another method. Check is currently the preferred method for most businesses, with 45% of organizations making more than half of payments this way. However, manual processes such as sending paper checks tend to be slower, less cost effective, and more prone to delays and errors. However, even digital payment methods require manual effort if done outside an AP automation platform. Paying suppliers manually by ACH or wire requires you to log into your online banking, enter each transaction individually, and then record the same transaction a second time in your accounting system. And for credit card payments, you have to call each vendor and enter the payment in an online portal and then send remittance details separately via fax or email. Businesses that automate payments, benefit from better security, improved supplier relationships, increased transparency, and fewer errors. And then the fifth step is supplier management. Supplier management is integrated throughout the other workflow processes described above. Many businesses are realizing that good supplier management starts with streamlining their AP workflows. Doing so, many payments are processed faster, keeping suppliers happy. Using a digital system with a supplier portal also makes it possible for suppliers to gain visibility into where their invoices are in process, reducing phone calls and questions. With a product like Mineral Tree, many activities that promote supplier happiness are taken off your plate, including supplier onboarding, payment preference management, response to payment inquiries, supplier enablement. Is this that you receive the bill invoice from vendor, verify the data on the bill invoice. If approving invoice is okay, then process the final payment. If no, if there is some mismatch, then flag the errors and send it for verification. If there's next invoice, again repeat the same thing. So this is the simplest of the basic of AP workflow, but it really gives lot of help in and support when it actually comes to the uh, errors and the issues that can originate. So the basic AP workflow process says at the end of the process, the amount that was payable at the first step would no longer be a liability. There may be intervening processes involving purchase orders, verifications, and approvals. The full cycle of the account payable process includes the receiving of PO from the purchase department, receiving the invoice from the vendor, matching, validating the PO and the invoice, approval, final payment to the vendor. These steps are essential to avoid errors and fraud in expenditure. So here basically we can see that once we follow these steps, the fraud detection does not happen, and this is also one of the way to get the fraud, to detect the fraud and uh, take care of that fraud does not happen. Documents that are associated with the AP are PO, the receiving report, the vendor's invoice, and the vouchers. The importance of the AP management is it ensures prompt payment of bills. Prompt payment also prevents overdue charges, penalties, and late fees. Account payable processing keeps overspending in check, prevents multiple duplicate payments for the same product service. It keeps track of the company's needs and purchases, which helps avoid delays and interruption in the day-to-day functioning of the company. It consolidates all purchase actions for easy retrieval. AP processing eliminates fraud through stringent follow-up and checks at every stage of the procurement process. It also helps better management for cash flow by enabling payments only when due, using the credit facility offered by the vendor. The breadth of the AP process. Now, the account payable process encompasses the almost all the payments except payroll made by a business for goods and services. The AP maintains the records of the purchases made by the company, which is crucial for auditing and tax purposes. The main goal of the AP are to ensure the payments and to leverage early payments or dynamic discounts. The integration of internal controls in the AP process, especially in automated processing, eliminates fraudulent or inaccurate payments. So here also we can, once we follow the AP process, the fraudulent payments can be eliminated. So the challenges of the AP processes are, since we have entire management or the system that takes care of AP, so there will be time delays, there will be some matching errors because invoice can be sometimes different, sometimes the PO can be different. Therefore, there can be exception management and unnecessary purchases. The fraud and theft can happen if we do not take care of the another one, the place where we saw that there are fraudulent payments. So we have to take care of that. The documents can be missing because for AP management, AP system to function properly, documents have to be there. Sometimes the double payments happen and there are blind spots. So streamlining the account payable cycle. The accounts payable processing can be streamlined by centralizing all the AP documents, and such streamlining can be enabled by automating accounting workflow. So automation will serve as the following purposes: eliminate paper clutter, reduce processing time and error rates, links POs and invoices with electronic payments, helps improve vendor management and prevent vendor fraud, enables hassle-free three-way matching, allows integration of the accounts payable process with other core business systems such as ERP and CRM, allows setting up of multiple checkpoints in the accounting payable cycle to avoid overspending or unnecessary purchases. Warnings and alarms can be set, allow for setting up payment deadlines, and finally enabling the generation of periodic reports. So automating the AP management process, uh, once we decide to automate the AP process, it solves many problems. Like it reduces AP cost by 80%, processes invoice 10% faster, 10 times faster, eliminate matching errors, identify the exceptions and handle them intelligently, and weed out fraud, theft, double payment, and other loopholes. So I guess this was a very informative session for account payable, and we will see next topic in next session. Till then, bye bye. See you.